Everyone thinks that the end of the year is just about partying, socializing, and a list of goals. But no one told you that between December 20th and 31st, one of the most intense energetic phenomena on the calendar happens. And your body is feeling it now, even if your mind hasn't understood it yet. If you've woken up in the last few days feeling strange, irritable for no reason, exhausted but anxious at the same time, wanting to disappear from the world or throw half your life in the trash, take a deep breath, because you're not freaking out. You're going through the 2025-2026 energy transition. And this isn't wannabe coach talk. It's a real phenomenon that moves everyone, but very few people know how to name what they're feeling. The energy of the Year 9 numerology is closing the doors of a giant cycle that lasted 9 whole years. 9 years! And at the same time, Year 1 numerology is already knocking on the window, asking for passage, bringing a completely new frequency of restart, of rebirth, of movement. But wait, because things get even more intense. 2026 will be ruled by the Year of the Fire Horse in the Chinese calendar. 2026, one of the most powerful and transformative energies that exist. The horse doesn't accept stagnation, has no patience with indecision, and definitely won't let you enter the new cycle carrying old baggage. It pushes, it accelerates, it demands that you choose a direction. And that's why you're feeling this inexplicable urgency to change everything. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the 8 signs that prove that you're already going through this energy turn without even realizing it. And look, these are not silly or generic signs. They are specific, deep symptoms of the energy turn, which move the physical, emotional, and energetic body at the same time. If you recognize at least 3 of these signs, leave the number 1 here in the comments, the number of the new cycle you are about to start. What if you feel all 8? So my friend, you're in the eye of the transformation hurricane, and you need to watch this video until the end, because I'll give you the keys to go through this transition without freaking out for good. You may have been feeling some strange things in the last few days. It's no coincidence. Do you know that strange feeling that is accompanying you these days? Like a discomfort that you can't explain properly, a restlessness that seems to have no name? Well, you can relax a little. You're not going crazy or freaking out for nothing. What's going on with you now has everything to do with something much bigger than it seems. It's just that we live in a universe that works in cycles. And when a giant cycle is coming to an end, the body captures it even before the mind understands it. It is as if you were a sensitive antenna picking up frequencies that have not yet become news in the newspaper of your consciousness. The 2025-2026 energy transition is not cheap self-help talk or internet fad. It is a real phenomenon that messes with the invisible structure of our existence. Think with me. Have you ever noticed how, before a storm arrives, animals get agitated? They sense the change in atmospheric pressure before humans notice any raindrops. With us, it works similarly when a giant numerological cycle is turning. The Year 9 numerology represents the closing, the last chapter of a 9-year-old book that you have been writing. And now, at the very end of 2025, this chapter is asking to be closed, and closed with dignity. But here comes the cat's leap. While Year 9 is saying goodbye, Year 1 numerology is already knocking on the door, just like that excited neighbor who arrives too early at the party. Imagine 2 trains on parallel tracks, one slowing down to stop at the final station, and the other speeding up to get out of it. You're inside both at the same time. That's why this crazy mix of exhaustion and anxiety, of wanting to rest, but also of wanting to start something new. It's not energy schizophrenia, it's pure transition. And look, these strange sensations that you have been experiencing, they are the symptoms of the energetic shift knocking on your door. When the energy of year 9 begins to close, and the vibration of year 1 already begins to call, the body feels it first. It seems chaos. But it is transition. The human body is much wiser than we give it credit for. While your mind is busy making a shopping list for New Year's Eve and thinking about the goals for 2026, your body is already processing a profound energetic change. He doesn't need graphs, charts, or rational explanations, he just feels. It's like when you enter an environment and without understanding why, you already know that something there is not right. Your body picks up frequencies, vibrations, subtle changes in the energy field around you. And now, in this final stretch of 2025, he is feeling the farewell to year 9 and the imminent arrival of year 1 numerology, with an intensity that can even be scary. There are people thinking that they are getting sick, that they need tests, that something physical is not right. Then you go to the doctor, do a complete checkup, and nothing. Everything is normal on the papers, but the body continues to show signs. Headache without explanation, tiredness that sleep does not solve, that feeling of heaviness on the back even without having made physical effort. This happens because we are going through the symptoms of the energetic turn, and the physical body is the first to react. He's trying to adapt to a new frequency, such as an old radio that needs to be tuned to another station. The noise, the static, the clutter, all of these are part of the tuning process. But here lies a detail that few people understand. What looks like chaos is, in fact, reorganization. You know, when you decide to do that general cleaning of the closet, and before it gets tidy, the whole house becomes a battlefield. Scattered clothes, open boxes, piles of things everywhere. Well then, the 2025-2026 energy transition works exactly like that with your internal energy. Before everything reorganizes itself in the new cycle, there needs to be a necessary mess. Year 9 numerology is letting go of everything you've held, tolerated, swallowed over the past few months, and maybe years. And this release is neither delicate nor silent. And this intensifies even more because 2026 will be ruled by the year of the fire horse in the Chinese calendar, an energy of movement, courage, liberation, and advancement. The horse does not accept stagnation. It asks for truth, choice, and direction. Now it gets even more interesting because it's not just Western numerology that's marking this powerful turn. The Chinese calendar 2026 brings a force that will enhance everything you are already feeling. The year of the fire horse. And look, if you think that horses are that tame farm animal, you need to review your concepts. The horse, especially when it is accompanied by the fire element, is pure intensity, movement, and accelerated transformation. He doesn't know how to stand still, doesn't accept low fences, and definitely doesn't have patience with those who want to stay in their comfort zone. It's like that friend who drags you to the gym at 6 in the morning, even though you're begging for 5 more minutes of sleep. The year of the Fire Horse 2026 arrives with a very direct message. Either you choose your direction, or life chooses for you. And when life chooses, it's not always the way we would like. The horse asks for truth. Truth with yourself, truth in your relationships, truth in your career choices. He doesn't have time for masks, pretenses, or leave it for later. Imagine a wild horse running in the open field. It doesn't stop to ask permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't have doubts about whether or not to move on. He just will. And 2026 will ask that of you. That you go, that you choose, that you move forward even without having all the answers. This fiery energy brings courage, but it also brings urgency. You know that feeling that you can't stay where you are anymore? That something inside you is screaming for change? That's the horse already galloping towards you even before 2026 officially begins. He does not accept stagnation because he knows that everything that does not move rots. Think of a puddle of standing water versus a flowing river. Which of the two has life, movement, constant cleanliness? The river, always. And 2026 wants to turn you into a river, not a puddle. So if you are feeling a giant restlessness, an inexplicable desire to change everything, know that it is not despair or existential crisis. It is the call of the horse knocking on the door of your soul. Irritation with things you've put up with all year. It's not an outbreak. It is your field warning that what no longer serves you does not cross to 2026. Have you noticed that things that you once swallowed without complaining now irritate you deeply? That co-worker's comment that you always pointed out suddenly became unbearable. That family dynamic that you used to accept well now makes you mad. Even that habit of yours, which you have been dragging for months, starts to bother you in a way that seems disproportionate. Calm down. You're not getting intolerant or boring. What's happening is that your energy field is doing a natural screening. It's as if the universe has put a very fine filter on your perception. And now everything that no longer resonates with who you are becoming starts screaming, "I don't belong here anymore." This is one of the most evident and at the same time most misunderstood symptoms of the energy shift. People around you may think you're too sensitive, exaggerated, making a storm out of a teacup. But the truth is, you just don't fit in small spaces anymore. Do you know when a child wears that clothes that fit all year and suddenly in a snap, the sleeve is short, the pants no longer close? That's exactly it. You have grown energetically during 2025, and now the situations, relationships and patterns that fit you before simply don't fit anymore. Irritation is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of evolution asking for passage. The Year 9 numerology has this brutal closing function. It doesn't let anything go unnoticed. It forces you to look at everything you've been tolerating and ask, will this go with me to the next cycle, or will it stay here? And look, the answer comes quickly, usually in the form of increasing discomfort. That useless weekly meeting at work that you attended on autopilot. Now it gives you unbearable agony. That relationship that's been lukewarm for a long time. Suddenly you can't stand pretending that everything is okay anymore. It's your internal navigation system recalibrating the route. And the more you try to ignore these signals, the louder they scream. Sudden urge to clean, organize, and throw things away. The physical goes hand in hand with the energetic. When the cycle closes, all excess begins to bother you. Suddenly, you look at your closet and feel an uncontrollable urge to throw half of your clothes away. That messy drawer you've been ignoring for months becomes an obsession. You start looking at every object in your house and thinking, do I really need this? And then begins a cleaning that seems to come from nowhere, but which actually comes from far away. It comes from your soul asking for lightness. This impulse for physical cleansing is neither coincidence nor end-of-year boredom. It is the direct reflection of what is happening in your energy field. The physical always accompanies the energetic, because deep down, everything is energy, manifesting itself in different densities. The 2025-2026 energy transition calls for empty space, clean space, available space for the new one that is coming. Think with me. You can't put clean water in a glass that's overflowing with dirty water, right? First, you need to empty, and that's exactly what your body, your home, and your entire life are asking for right now. That you empty it. Every object you accumulated unnecessarily, every old paper kept just in case, every piece of clothing that no longer fits you, but you keep just in case. All of this is energy weight. And when the Year 9 numerology is closing, this weight becomes unbearable. It's as if you've been carrying a backpack full of rocks all year round and only now realize how slow it's slowing you down. There are people who, at this stage, wake up in the middle of the night with the desire to reorganize the bookshelf. Others spend the whole weekend donating things, throwing away papers, cleaning every corner of the house as if preparing for a move. And, energetically speaking, okay. Because the year one numerology that is coming does not accept old baggage. It is the beginning, the new beginning, the blank page asking to be written. And you don't write well on a crumpled and dirty sheet. So if you felt this call to clean, organize and let go, don't ignore it. It's not perfectionism or a mania for cleanliness. It's energetic preparation for the most important turning point in the cycle. A strange mixture of tiredness plus anxiety for something new. This is the body between two worlds, the end and the beginning. The year 9 drained. Year 1 is already moving, and the horse accelerates this call. You're exhausted, but at the same time, restless. You want to sleep for 3 days in a row, but you also feel a strange energy asking you to do something, start something, mess with life. It seems contradictory, right? How can someone be tired and anxious at the same time? But look, this crazy combination makes perfect sense when you understand what's going on behind the energetic backstage. You're literally living in 2 times at the same time. Year 9, numerology is draining the last drops of energy left from the cycle that ends, while Year 1 numerology is already pulling you forward, speeding up your heart, activating your dormant dreams. It's like having one foot on the brake and the other on the accelerator. This is one of the most uncomfortable symptoms of the energy turn because it directly messes with your nervous system. Your body doesn't know whether to rest or prepare to run. He gets mixed signals all the time. Relax, the cycle is over, versus wake up, the new cycle has begun. And in the middle of it all, there is the year of the fire horse 2026 blowing embers on this fire, bringing even more urgency, more movement, more desire to gallop towards the unknown. Do you know when you're at that stage, before an important trip? Are you tired of packing, planning, arranging everything, but at the same time, are you very excited about what lies ahead? It is exactly this energy. The key here is to understand that you don't have to choose between resting and moving. You need to do both in balanced doses. Fatigue is real and deserves to be respected. The year 9 asked a lot of you, demanded a lot of you, made you go through heavy lessons. So yes, rest. But the anxiety for the new is also legitimate and should not be stifled. It is the fuel that will move you in 2026. The 2025-2026 energy transition calls for this delicate dance between honoring the fatigue of what has passed and feeding the expectation of what is to come. Don't fight this duality. It's temporary and necessary, feeling that certain bonds weigh more than before. It is the field showing who does not walk with you in the next cycle. Some versions fall by the wayside. Have that friend you've always adored, but lately every conversation with them seems to suck your energy. Or that dear family member who suddenly leaves you exhausted after half an hour of chatting. It's not that these people became bad overnight. What is happening is much more subtle and profound. You simply no longer vibrate at the same frequency. And when the 2025-2026 energy transition arrives in full force, these vibration differences become stark. It's as if before you talked in the same language and now, without anyone changing countries, you just don't understand each other in the same way anymore. The connection that used to flow naturally has become an effort. It hurts, I'm not going to lie to you. It hurts to realize that people who have been by your side for years may not make it to the next cycle with you. But here's a truth that few have the courage to say: not everyone who started the journey with you will finish it with you. And that's okay. Some people came into your life to teach you something specific, to accompany you during a certain phase, to show you a path. But when the lesson ends, when the level closes, when the path changes direction, It is natural for everyone to follow their own route. The Year 9 numerology has this surgical function of separating what is to stay from what is to go. Pay attention. I'm not telling you to go around cutting people out of your life dramatically, but I'm telling you to respect what you feel. If a bond weighs you down, if a relationship leaves you exhausted, if a friendship has become a boring obligation, your energy field is telling you something. Maybe it's time to create healthy distance. Maybe it's time to have that difficult conversation. Maybe it's time to accept that some versions of you and the people around you need to stay in the past. The Year of the Fire Horse. 2026 will not accept that you carry warm, heavy, or misaligned relationships. He asks for truth, and sometimes the truth is, this cycle with this person is over. Emotional lucidity. You notice things that you previously ignored. It's not drama, it's clarity. Suddenly you start to see things as they really are, without the filters you've been using for so long. That work situation that you always painted pink, now you see clearly how much it limits you. That relationship you swore was in a rough patch, now you realize that the difficult phase is the entire relationship. That dream you've been chasing, you finally admit that it was never really yours, but rather an expectation planted by someone else. This ability to see the naked truth didn't come out of nowhere. It's a gift straight from Year 9 numerology, which acts as a magnifying glass on everything you've been sweeping under the rug. People around you may think you're being too negative, pessimistic, or critical. Wow, you've been very demanding lately, they will say. You're seeing problems in everything, they will comment. But that's not it. You're not creating problems. You've just stopped pretending they don't exist. The emotional lucidity that comes with the symptoms of the energetic turn is liberating, but it can also be frightening. It's like when you clean your glasses after months and realize how badly you were seeing. At first, it is even a shock to see everything so clear, so real, so unfiltered. But then comes the relief of finally stopping living in a comfortable illusion. All this clarity has a very specific purpose, to prepare you for Year 1 numerology that is coming. Because you can't start a new, powerful cycle of true rebirth if you're still carrying illusions from the previous cycle. The Chinese calendar 2026, with the strength of the fire horse, has no patience for lies, neither the ones others tell you, nor the ones you tell yourself. So that moment of emotional lucidity is a deep cleansing in your belief system, an update in your internal software. It can be uncomfortable to realize that you've spent months or years fooling yourself about certain things, but it's necessary. The truth always hurts less than the lie sustained for a long time. Anger or impatience for no clear reason. When a cycle is closing, the body tries to push what locks. Have you felt an inexplicable anger bubbling up inside you? That impatience that explodes for any silly little thing, like someone chewing loudly or taking 2 seconds longer to answer a message. And the worst, you yourself don't understand where all this irritation comes from. Nothing serious happened. No one did anything absurd to you. But even so, you have your nerves on edge. Relax, you're not becoming a bitter or grumpy person. What is happening is that your energy body is trying to expel everything that was stuck, choked, stuck during the cycle that ends. Anger is a powerful cleansing tool. It pushes out what can't come out smoothly. Think of the body as a river that needs to flow constantly. All year long, you've swallowed frogs, held answers on the tip of your tongue, accepted unfair situations in silence, ignored your own boundaries. All of this became an energetic blockade, stones in the path of the river. And now, in the final stretch of the Year 9 numerology, the river needs to run free again before entering the new cycle. So he puts pressure on these stones, tries to push, tries to clear the way. This pressure manifests as seemingly senseless anger. But it does make sense, only that the meaning is not in the present situation that irritated you, but in all the past situations that you didn't process properly. The year of the Firehorse 2026 is already casting its shadow over you, and the horse doesn't walk through gates with rusty splinters. He needs free passage. Therefore, if you feel this anger emerging, do not try to suppress it completely or take it out on those who have nothing to do with it, but don't ignore it either. Find healthy ways to release. Write without filter on a piece of paper and then tear it all up. Do an intense physical exercise. Scream inside the car with the windows closed. The important thing is to give vent, because stopped energy turns into illness, physical or emotional. The 2025-2026 energy transition calls for movement, including movement of dense emotions. Absurd need for silence, recollection, or to disappear a little. This is the call of cleansing. It's not escape, but it's preparation. Have you been cancelling appointments that once excited you? Ignored calls from loved ones, feeling an almost desperate desire to be alone, in silence, without having to talk to anyone or explain anything to anyone? Before you get scared thinking that you are going into depression or isolating yourself from the world, take a deep breath. This is one of the most important and least understood symptoms of the energy turn. Your inner being is asking for recollection because it needs to process everything that has happened during the entire cycle. It's as if you had watched an intense movie for 9 hours straight, and now you need some alone time to digest the whole story before leaving for the next session. Silence is not empty, it is full of internal processing. When you retreat into this final phase of Year 9 numerology, you're giving space to your unconscious to organize the drawers, file memories, let go of what no longer serves, integrate learning. Think of a company taking inventory at the end of the year. It needs to close its doors temporarily, count the inventory, see what was stranded, reorganize everything before reopening for the new sales cycle. That's exactly what you're doing internally. And the people around you may not understand. They may find you distant, they may even be offended by your disappearance. But you don't owe anyone satisfaction about your internal cleaning process. This recollection is preparation, not escape. It's you tuning in to play the symphony of Year 1 numerology that is coming. It's you making silence to listen to the whispers of your intuition about which direction to take in 2026. The year of the Firehorse 2026 will require a lot of energy from you, a lot of movement, a lot of action. But before galloping, even the wildest horse needs a moment of standing still, taking a deep breath, calculating the distance of the jump. So if you felt this call to disappear a little, answer it. It is not selfishness or anti-sociability, it is energetic self-care of the highest level. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Desire to turn the year different, even without knowing how. This is the horse calling you to leave the old place. You don't know exactly what you want, but you know for sure what you don't want anymore. You look at your life and think, you can't turn the year the same way. Even without having a detailed plan, without knowing exactly where to go, you feel a visceral need for things to be different in 2026. This restlessness is not immaturity or lack of gratitude for what you have. It is the call of the horse echoing within you. The year of the Firehorse 2026 does not accept sameness, does not tolerate repetition of old patterns, has no patience with people who sit around waiting for life to happen. It asks for movement, even if you don't know which direction to move yet. Here lies a truth that scares many people. You don't need to have everything resolved to start the change. In fact, no one ever does. Clarity comes on the way, not before it. The Year 1 numerology that's knocking on the door is precisely about that, about taking the first step without seeing the whole way, about starting even without having all the answers, about trusting that the direction will reveal itself as you walk. Do you know that saying, "fortune favors the audacious"? Yes, but the truth is that luck favors those who move. You can have all the luck in the world standing in front of you, but if you don't take a step, it passes you by. This desire to turn the year different is your internal GPS recalibrating. It's your energetic survival instinct warning you that standing still now is tantamount to choosing decline. The 2025-2026 energy transition is not a polite invitation. It's a firm nudge from the universe telling you go, because if you don't go, life will drag you along anyway, and you'd better go of your own free will. So honor that will, even if you start small, changing a habit, having a postponed conversation, making that decision you've been pushing. The size of the movement doesn't matter as much as the intention to move. The horse respects those who get up and try, even if they stumble. He just doesn't respect those who sit around complaining that life doesn't change. So now answer me honestly, how many of these signs have you recognized in your own life? 5, 6, all 8? Because if you've come this far, and you're still thinking that this is all a coincidence or just a difficult phase at the end of the year, you're wasting a golden opportunity. The 2025-2026 energy transition is not coming back. The year of the Firehorse 2026 does not wait. And Year 1 numerology won't knock on your door twice asking for permission. Or you take advantage of this turn to reposition yourself, to make the choices you've been postponing, to let go of what needs to be released. Or you enter 2026 dragging the same old patterns and waste one of the most powerful cycles of your life. Here's the question that really matters. What are you going to do differently in the coming days to honor this transition? Are you going to have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding? Will you finally throw away what no longer serves you, whether it's an object, a habit, or even a relationship? Are you going to stop pretending that everything is okay when you know it's not? Because the universe does not demand perfection from you, but it demands movement. He wants to see you trying, choosing, taking risks. Even if you miss the steering, it is better to err walking than to hit it standing still. Year 9. Numerology has given you all the lessons you needed. Now it's time to apply. Year 1. Numerology is offering you a clean start, but you need to accept the invitation. I want to know from you, which of these 8 signs impacted you the most? Which one made you stop and think, damn, this is exactly what I'm feeling? Leave it here in the comments, because your answer can help someone else who is going through the same thing and feeling alone in this transition. And look, if you want to continue learning about how to navigate these energies, about how to use numerology and the Chinese calendar 2026 to your advantage, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Because 2026 will be a year of intense movement, and those who do not prepare will be run over by their own lives. But those who understand the game, those who learn to read the signs, those who have the courage to let go of the old and embrace the new, this one will ride along with the Firehorse and get far. The choice, as always, is yours.